I'm going to start with the angles of this piece. So the legs have a 3-degree splay to them. So I've gotten pretty much all the wood down to where it's milled, everything's square, it's the right size. The main thing that I haven't messed with is lengths. So the first part that I have to mess with is my legs. The legs are kind of the main part of the piece that are limiting me from doing anything else because of the angle. So every single leg is gonna have a compound angle where it's gonna be 3 degrees out on the edges and also 3 degrees forwards in the fronts and 3 degrees backwards in the back. So when we're working with a piece like this, the first thing that you need to do is make sure you are labeling things clearly. Because I'm working with such a small angle, a 3-degree angle, one side of this board is 3 degrees. Now I know it's this side because I've angled it with a 3. I can also tell just by looking at it for a minute, but if I pick it up and I go to cutting without thinking, I might miss the fact that this edge is 3 degrees. So the way that a compound miter works is normally when you want to cut a miter, you just change it here. So I'm gonna go ahead and change this to 3 degrees. Next step is to change back here. This tilts the entire head of the saw. Tighten that lever back down. And now you should have a cut that is both 3 degrees this direction and 3 degrees this direction. A nice flat surface that's not going to be used by other people for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and screw this top down so that there's no chance of it warping while I'm working on getting our base assembled. As for our base, I have all the legs cut on the ends to length and marked out for tapers. Got a leg and a taper jig here, so this thing is really simple. All it is a sheet of plywood with a runner on the bottom to fit into the miter gauge slot on the bandsaw. And then there's these 2 blocks to just set where you want your miter to be, and then this block holds down your piece. Ooh, my wrist is too weak for this. And if you look at the tapers that I've already cut, on some of these you can see we didn't quite cut to the line. The reason for that is we're going to take these over to the jointer to get rid of all the rough bandsaw marks. It's going to take really, really light passes. So right now I've got it set on a 30-second. Now that we have the legs all smoothed out, I'm moving to working with the aprons. I'm going to be doing some classic mortise and tenon jointery on the ends of these. Now, because we're doing that 3-degree splay, I need to trim the ends of this piece here to be a proper length, but also B to be at the right 3-degree angle. So ends are cut at a nice 3-degree angle, going this direction. And instead of trying to get that 3-degree angle with a protractor, just made a quick little measuring jig here. Got a perfectly square face, and I've got the depth of my tenon, which is 1 5/8. And so using this cut edge that's already cut at 3 degrees by our miter saw, I can simply trace where that shoulder is going to be all the way around both ends and get a perfect 3-degree angle right there. mortise and tenon joints fine-tuned here. And because I'm working with a splay, looking at the ends here, this one has not been cut yet. I've marked this little line right here, and it's taken that 3 degrees back off this shoulder so that this whole piece will be square on a 3-degree tilt from a perpendicular axis. Also, something that you'll see on the opposite end of this apron right here is that I've had to cut a compound miter here so that when I put this into the leg, it will mesh nicely with the other tenon going in here. Okay, so I've got the ends here glued up. I've just got a dry clamp on this back stretcher here. For the front of this desk, we are putting in 3 drawers. We're gonna have a large one in the middle and then 2 on either side. The issue that I'm running into right here is when I designed the desk, I've built drawers before and I just thought, oh, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and build out some kind of framework underneath it after I glue it up, and that will hold the drawers. I think what I'm gonna have to do is go back to quote unquote the drawing board and sketch out how I want this frame for my drawers to be, because that kind of depends on a couple different things that interlock together in order to make this work well. This is the drawer frame clamped together loosely just to dry fit everything. I'm going to be using the domino jointer to connect all of these, make sure they're nice and flush, and also to keep them from sliding left to right. This thing is really cool. We've actually got the Festool vacuum as well. It needs to evacuate the chips. But the way that this thing works is it has a router bit in here that will not only dig straight in, but instead of just cutting a hole, it waggles back and forth and creates a space for this thing right here, which is the domino. So I'm going to be using this type of joint for these here, and also I'm going to put a couple in the sides here to attach this into the apron of the actual piece when we go to glue up the base over there.